The Iran-Israel relationship is one of the most complex and volatile in the Middle East, a region already fraught with rivalries. From a surprising alliance in the mid-20th century to today's open hostility, their dynamic has shaped regional politics and raised global concerns, particularly over Iran's nuclear ambitions. This script traces their relations from Israel's founding in 1948, through pivotal shifts like Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution, to the dramatic escalations of the past few days, including Israel's airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities on June 13, 2025, Iran's retaliation, and the current precarious situation. With fears of a nuclear-armed Iran looming large for Israel and the West, we'll explore the history, recent events, and possible outcomes of this enduring conflict. When Israel was established in 1948 under the UN Partition Plan, it faced immediate hostility from Arab neighbors. Iran, a non-Arab Muslim-majority nation under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, took a different stance. In 1950, Iran became the second Muslim-majority country to recognize Israel, a pragmatic move to manage Iranian assets in Palestine and align with Western interests against Soviet influence. Israel, seeking allies in a hostile region, pursued a periphery doctrine, forging ties with non-Arab states like Iran and Turkey to counter Arab nationalism, led by figures like Egypt's Gamal Abdel Nasser. Through the 1950s to 1970s, Iran and Israel built robust ties. Iran supplied up to 40% of Israel's oil, critical during Arab embargoes in 1967 and 1973. They collaborated on projects like the Eilat-Ashkelon oil pipeline, discreetly managed through a Swiss company. Militarily, Israel's Mossad trained Iran's SAVAK, the Shah's secret police established in 1957 to suppress internal dissent. Declassified records later revealed joint military ventures, including a 1977 missile project codenamed Project Flower. Despite Iran's vote against the 1947 UN Partition Plan and Israel's 1949 UN admission, reflecting domestic pressures, the Shah prioritized strategic and economic benefits, creating a pragmatic alliance that served both nations' interests in a turbulent region. The 1979 Islamic Revolution transformed Iran's foreign policy and its relationship with Israel. The overthrow of the Shah and the rise of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini's Islamic Republic marked a sharp ideological turn. Khomeini denounced Israel as the Little Satan, alongside the United States as the Great Satan, framing both as imperialist threats to Muslim sovereignty. Iran cut all official ties, closed Israel's embassy in Tehran, and handed it to the Palestine Liberation Organization. Yasser Arafat's visit to Tehran in 1979 underscored Iran's new commitment to the Palestinian cause, reversing its prior recognition of Israel. Khomeini's rhetoric was uncompromising. Israel's existence was illegitimate, and its defeat was a religious duty. Iran began supporting anti-Israel groups, notably helping establish Hezbollah in Lebanon in 1982. After Israel's invasion to expel the PLO, Hezbollah, backed by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC), became a key proxy, launching attacks on Israel's northern border. Despite this public hostility, limited covert cooperation persisted during the Iran-Iraq War, 1980-1988. Israel, viewing Iraq as a greater threat, reportedly sold Iran over $100 million in arms in 1983, including spare parts for military aircraft. This pragmatic exchange was short-lived, as Iran's revolutionary ideology solidified, cementing the two nations as adversaries. The 1990s saw the Iran-Israel conflict intensify through proxy wars and covert actions. The collapse of shared threats like Iraq and the Soviet Union removed incentives for cooperation. Iran expanded support for Hezbollah, which clashed with Israel in the 2006 Lebanon War, and backed Palestinian groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad, despite their Sunni affiliation, to bolster its regional influence. Israel responded with covert operations, including assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists and the 2010 Stuxnet cyber attack developed with the US, which disrupted Iran's Natanz nuclear facility. Iran's nuclear program, revived in the 1980s, became a central concern for Israel, which views a nuclear-armed Iran as an existential threat. Israel conducted airstrikes on Iranian assets in Syria, where Iran supported the Assad regime, with direct attacks escalating by 2018. Iran's leaders, particularly under Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, fueled tensions with provocative rhetoric, such as calling for Israel to be wiped off the map in 2005. Israel, in turn, emphasized Iran's nuclear ambitions and proxy network, Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and Houthi rebels in Yemen, as a ring of fire encircling it, justifying its preemptive actions. On June 13, 2025, Israel launched a major operation dubbed Operation Rising Lion, targeting Iran's nuclear facilities at Natanz and Fordo, as well as military sites, killing senior IRGC commanders like Hossein Salami and Mohammad Bagheri, and nuclear scientists. The strikes, involving over 200 aircraft and covert Mossad operations, aimed to curb Iran's uranium enrichment, which the UN's nuclear watchdog reported as non-compliant with non-proliferation agreements. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the strikes a decisive moment to thwart Iran's nuclear ambitions, citing intelligence that Iran had enough enriched uranium for multiple bombs if further processed. The West, particularly the US, foreshares Israel's concerns, fearing Iran's potential to weaponize its nuclear program, especially after it announced a new enrichment facility following the IAEA's censure. Iran retaliated on June 13, 14, with Operation True Promise 3, launching over 100 drones and missiles at Israel, targeting Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Israel's multi-layered defenses, supported by the US and allies, intercepted most projectiles, but at least 3 Israelis were killed and dozens injured, with damage reported in Ramat Gan and other areas. Iran reported 78 deaths, including 29 children, and over 320 injuries, mostly civilians, from Israel's strikes, which also hit residential areas and Tehran's Mehrabad airport. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vowed a harsh response, while Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called the attacks a declaration of war, accusing the US of complicity. The US denied involvement, but assisted in intercepting Iranian missiles. The strikes disrupted nuclear talks scheduled for June 15th in Oman, with Iran suspending participation. The IAEA reported significant damage to Natanz's above-ground facilities, though underground centrifuges may remain intact, raising fears Iran could accelerate enrichment to weapons-grade levels or withdraw from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. As of June 15, 2025, the situation Israel continues strikes on Iranian military targets, while Iran's missile volleys have exposed vulnerabilities in its air defenses, previously weakened by Israel's October 2024 attacks. Global leaders, including the UN, UK, and Germany, urged de-escalation, fearing a broader regional war. The US, under President Trump, pushes for diplomacy but faces challenges after Iran's withdrawal from talks. Israel's actions have set back Iran's nuclear program, possibly by years, but haven't eliminated it, prompting concerns Iran may pursue weaponization for deterrence. Possible outcomes may include 1. Limited retaliation. Iran may opt for measured proxy attacks via Hezbollah or Houthis to avoid all-out war, given its weakened military. Nuclear acceleration. Iran could enrich uranium to weapons-grade levels or exit the NPT, escalating tensions but risking further Israeli or US strikes. 3. Diplomatic push. Pressure from global powers could revive nuclear talks, though distrust and recent losses make this challenging. Regional war. Miscalculations could draw in the US, Gulf states or Iran's proxies, destabilizing the region. The Iran-Israel conflict, rooted in a dramatic shift from alliance to enmity, reflects the Middle East's complex interplay of ideology, strategy, and power. The June 2025 strikes and Iran's retaliation have heightened fears of a nuclear-armed Iran. While both sides show restraint to avoid total war, understanding this history and current dynamics is crucial to navigating the uncertain path ahead.